All right, so I'm going to start with a couple of questions before we kick off the panel, because this is your time, right? This is your time to kind of engage and wrap up this day, right? So, how many first-time entrepreneurs in the audience? All right? So you're doing it, you are an entrepreneur, you're doing it for the first time. Starting a business for the first time. All right? How many wannabe entrepreneurs in the audience? Fantastic. And how many entrepreneurs who've done it before and doing it for the second or the third?
Oh, wow.
Wonderful. So how many, so can all of these three groups, wannabes, first time and second time entrepreneurs, stand up? So we can just actually get to see.
Who are the rest? Who's the rest there?
Feel that what you are doing, how many of you are consumed completely by what you are doing? Raise your hands. In terms of the businesses, whatever you are doing is your baby. You are completely consumed by it today. All of us, right? And that's the phenomenal part. And how many of you all believe in some of the things you heard? That you have the power to take your ideas and change the world using online as a medium? Fantastic. All right. So I'm going to ask you all to probably share some questions. And even those of you all who are here who are not entrepreneurs, to share some of the questions for the panelists. So before we start, you can sit. Before we start, I'll give you all a sense of what we want to do to wrap up the evening. We've started with the power of an idea, and we've talked about the reality of how you can make it happen, right? Whether it's the tools, or the passion, or connecting with emotion, right? Usage of AdWords, or usage of SEO, or other aspects that you can use in terms of connecting with YouTube and other media, right? And the power of mobile, right, where mobile is becoming all pervasive in an Indian context, right? So the panelists here represent different perspectives, right? Here's Sunil, who brings a perspective from Google and who understands a lot about the business, right? We have Varun here, who comes with the passion of ideas and the youth and doing anything that's possible. We have Satya, who represents mobile. He's brought a huge change to ClearTrip's whole story in terms of mobile connect. And we have Revati, who talks about investment and investor perspective. That's all important to get the businesses going, right? So that's what we want to wrap up this evening and share back some perspectives for Bangalore, right? So we said, what could be the mandate for Bangalore and online, right? And GBG stands for a community that's supposed to enable us in terms of getting there. So that's what the panel topic is about today, right? What should be the mandate? What are some ideas? What are some things? What are tips? What should we be doing? In that context, I'll take about 6 or 7 questions if you'll have them, and we'll capture them right now so that we can bring them into the context of the panel. So if you'll want, just share your questions, and I'll just note them down. Has anyone got questions that they want to ask the panelists as we go down in this context? Any things that y'all felt y'all wanted to ask that hasn't been asked yet? Any things y'all wanted to get covered? Yeah, go ahead. You can just give me your question. I'll just make a note of it, and then we'll bring it up during the panel at the right time.
My question is, I'm in a field, we train people on beautiful handwriting.
Yeah.
The moment we come online or go online, nowadays people start, number of people writing itself is reduced.
Sure.
So in India and a developing country like India, 90% of the exams or whatever writing happens only written based. But the moment we go online, the people who are writing itself has reduced, which is totally contradicting my business.
The area that you're in, okay.
So how do we, should I go online or not?
That's a very specific question, Padma. I thought more in terms of the audience, but it's a good question in terms of calligraphy and design, and we can talk about design, right? Handwriting is all about design and calligraphy. So we'll bring that up.
65% of India's population live in rural areas, and most of them are illiterate. how do you actually penetrate online marketing to this section of society?
Okay. So rural areas, illiterate people, how do we connect with them?
My name is Venkat. We are running a company called FACE, Focus Academy for Career Enhancement.
Yeah.
So we train college kids, right? Basically engineering college students. So we train close to 3 lakh students. But predominantly we are an offline player. We don't have an online presence apart from a static website and a Facebook group, right? Small group wherein some 3,000 students post. Yes? So my question is, could be very specific as well. Wherein I want to know, when we wanted to create an online engagement platform, we have been fascinated by these user-managed forums. Right? For example, there are multiple forums, even TripAdvisor, whatever. So user-managed content. Yes. So creating a platform, website, or a forum wherein the users contribute, Wikipedia. Right. So the multiple platforms like that. Now I can see a fairly successful product towards the end. Right. So I can see a Wikipedia as of today. Right, but then, how did it all start? That is something which has been mystifying.
But do you have a specific question for the panel?
Yes. So, how do you kind of create a platform which will be managed by a user, or which will be sustained by users? So, what are the initial stages? How is it being done? Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi. My name is Amit.
Yeah.
Broadly in terms of getting users engaged and getting them to contribute to your platform so that they're managing it.
My name is Amit. I have got a question with Sunil. Sunil, if you see these days, most of the time we have spoken in length about the SEO part. So if you see the SEO, generally if any of the SEO professionals, they know they can optimize their content and they get it on the very first page. However, there is no way right now in search where you can authenticate that number which is coming at the very first place or second place. So how do we address that challenge?
Okay. So measuring and authenticating the number of the audience.